This is a zombie-infested world after the end of the world. Zombies walk through the night streets of the city while the silhouette jumps on buildings in the background. I ended up here with billions of other unfortunate people. A dark-haired guy in a black sweatshirt screams as he is attacked by a horde of zombies. In the face of the apocalypse, trust between people has disappeared. You can only count on yourself. A dark-haired guy in a black sweatshirt and white t-shirt with the word Art of Victory written on it and blue eyes looks at the dialogue boxes that say, as night falls, zombies and mutants become more active. Everyone has an alternative resource storage space that works by absorbing energy. Use the gathering skill wisely to collect resources from zombies and mutants. The current level of zombies and mutants is suppressed, but the suppression decreases every 30 days. Please prepare for this in advance. These are hidden hints. The main character reflects while killing zombies with an axe with a shield in one hand that he is not afraid to go this way alone in a disfigured zombie world. A dark-haired guy wakes up in a puddle on the sidewalk and blue dialogue boxes pop up. The guy asks, "What's that sound?" The hints say, "Welcome to the apocalypse, the game is about to start." There are 59 seconds left until the game starts. While the guy is getting to his feet, a red dialogue box with the number 59 appears in front of him. The guy is perplexed about what is happening around him, and as soon as he opens his eyes in front of his face, he sees the scary face of a dead man looking at him with his mouth open. The guy jumps back in horror. Around him, he sees the street of a ruined city teeming with zombies, a skyscraper shrouded in what looks like a red leaf tree. The guy screams, "What's happening? Where am I?" He notices dialogue boxes in front of him, one red with the numbers 50, the other blue with the message, 50 seconds left before the game starts. Your main goal in this world is survival. Opening the construction function, opening a store and exchange, opening a chat, setting up game resources. The guy reacts with bewilderment to the words apocalypse and game. He reflects on the fact that the electricity was cut off in the whole city and he went to bed quite early. He assumes that he is having a nightmare. The dialogue boxes say that there are 48 seconds left before the game starts, that zombies in a static state cannot move and cannot be killed, and that they need to take advantage of the opportunity to find shelter. The guy with the smug grin decides that this is just a dream and nothing to worry about. He tries to wake himself up by hitting his face with his fist, but it doesn't work and he says that it hurts a lot. There are 40 seconds left before the game starts. The guy runs through the streets in a panic and calls for help while the dialogue boxes continue to count down to the start of the game. The guy shouts that he doesn't want to die and turn into a zombie and swears. The dialogue box indicates that the culture and technology on this star are extremely developed and it is also larger than Earth in area. The guy continues to run and shouts about how to find shelter if there are zombies everywhere. The dialogue box says that this world has been occupied by zombies and other mutants, that he needs to kill them to get resources, and that weapons will be a big advantage. The guy is trying to catch his breath that he doesn't understand how he got into this game because he didn't do anything wrong. The dialogue box indicates that boxes are scattered all over the world, where you can find the necessary materials and equipment. The guy spews vomit on the asphalt and says that he can't die because he's so damn good at games. The dialogue box says that everyone has an alternative storage space for resources that work by absorbing energy. The guy in a rage demands dialogue boxes for more useful tips. Dialogue boxes that he needs to use correctly to collect resources from zombies and mutants. As night falls, zombies and mutants become more active. The current level of zombies and mutants is suppressed, but the suppression decreases every 30 days. The dialogue box warns you that you need to prepare for this in advance. The guy notices that there are 10 seconds left before the game starts, and you need to find something that can protect him. He sees a zombie in a police uniform with a growth shield and a smoke grenade. While the report is nearing zero, the guy runs up to the zombie, snatches the shield from his hands and removes the grenade from his belt. A zombie in a police uniform hits his head on the shield and the guy falls to the ground. The red dialogue box shows the number 0. You can see fire and a red moon in the sky. The game begins. The guy screams in horror and lying on the ground holding a smoke grenade in his hand tries to hide with a shield from the crowd of zombies running at him. The blue dialogue box says, "Congratulations on the official start of the game. We wish you good luck." A zombie in police clothes puts all its weight on the shield that the main character is trying to hide behind. The main character almost loses hope looking at the snarling face of the zombie right in front of him, but decides to fight and with the words "go away" kicks the shield away from him along with the zombie attacking him in a police helmet. Then he rips the pin off a smoke grenade and throws it into a crowd of zombies and then starts running away from them with all his might. After running for a while, he sees other guys who were attacked by zombies. He sees 2 zombies charging at one guy as he screams for help. He also sees 2 guys, one grabbing a branch of a red leaf tree, and the other climbing a pole and holding onto it with his hands and feet, while a crowd of zombies looks at them from below. The main character understands that they also happened to be here and did not have time to see what was happening. He sees another guy sitting in a car surrounded by zombies and yelling that he doesn't want to die. The main character understands that he needs to find a place where he can hide. He then discovers the restaurant and runs to its bloodied glass door. A red tip pops up in front of him, which says, "There are 27 zombies waiting for you in the restaurant. If you want to go there, provide them with a hearty dinner." The main character wonders why this hint is red. He sees two guys with backpacks approaching the restaurant door. The blue dialogue box indicates that there are 6 zombies in clear water in the supermarket, and that if he has a weapon and enough skills, he can try to fight them. The main character sees two guys about to enter the restaurant door and wonders if they can't see the clues or if they think they can handle it. Shortly after they enter, the main character hears screams from behind the restaurant door that there are zombies and a call to run away. The main character realizes that he is the only one who sees the clues. The main character continues to run along the streets and then sees several blue dialogue boxes. The main character thinks, "This is my space." The blue hint indicates that there are no zombies and there is one box with materials that pleases the main character. He runs into the room and closes the door behind him, then falls to the floor to catch his breath. He goes to the materials drawer and opens it. The blue dialogue boxes read, "Received, mineral water 1, fire axe 1, pistol with an injection that improves physical strength -1. One such injection can increase the level of physical strength to a strong level. Physical strength has 5 levels: weak, normal, strong, abnormally strong, and extreme." The main character rejoices in his good fortune to find these materials and, thinking about what an abnormal level of strength means, puts an injection of physical strength enhancing drugs into his arm. He screams in pain, throws the injection to the side and holds his arm, the veins on which are very swollen. The blue dialogue box indicates that he was running a primary physical strength enhancement serum, and that the probability of a successful upgrade is 30%, and if the upgrade fails, he will be torn apart. The main character swears that he was not told about this earlier, and I think that now he will definitely die. The main character is lying on the concrete floor biting his hand, while a loud knock comes from the other side of the door. He thinks that he can't scream because it will attract zombies. At this time, a girl in a short top and short shorts with long dark hair and a guy in a t-shirt with a sword in his hand runs away from a crowd of zombies on the street. This guy notices a zombie approaching behind him and draws his sword from its scabbard and cuts the zombie's head in one motion. He looks down at his bloody sword with a sinister grin, and I think about how useful he really is and how he's the boss here now. His eyes glow blue, and on the left side of his face you can see a scar running through his eye. This is Wang Jiran, the first abnormally strong person in this region. Meanwhile, the main character comes to his senses, grabs a bottle of water and drinks it in one go. He throws the bottle to the floor, realizes that he's still alive, and tears of joy come to his eyes. Then he hears a cry for help, to which he shouts, "Hey, what are you yelling about?" Looking for death. A brown-haired girl in a ragged floor-length dress screams for help as zombies climb through the window to get to her. By the noise on the other side of the door, the main character realizes that there are a whole crowd of zombies there and begins to climb up with a shield in one hand and an axe in the other. The blue dialogue box indicates that there are 7 zombies on the second floor, and they can be killed from behind while being distracted by the girl's screams. The main character realizes that he has no choice but to put his life on the line, and decides that it's time to test the abilities of an abnormal force. A girl in a floor-length dress stands outside the window from the outside of the building and screams in fear as the zombies reach for her through the broken window. All of a sudden, she sees an axe cut through the head of these zombies from behind, and then she sees the main character in the window, who tells her that she will attract more zombies with her screams. With tears in her eyes, she asks him to save her as soon as possible. Standing in front of the window, the main character with a shield in his hand kills zombies with an axe. He notices that his strength and reaction time have greatly improved. The girl screams in horror at this grotesque scene, in response to which the main character tells her to shut up or they will both die. At this time, the zombies on the first floor have kicked down the door and are running inside in a crowd. The main character gives the girl a hand through the window and tells her to give him a hand. She looks down and shakes her head in fear. The blue dialogue boxes say, "You found a zombie, received Energy Crystal Core 1, Car Key 1, Mutagenic Fertilizer 3, you found a zombie. Received Room Key 1, Small Knife 1, Mutagenic Fertilizer 2, and you found a zombie. Received Energy Crystal Core 1, Mutagenic Fertilizer 5. A crowd of zombies runs into the room, which scares the heroes. The main character runs along the corridor, which diverges in 2 directions. There is a blue dialogue box on the side of each aisle. The left one reads, "There are no zombies here, but this is a dead end." The right one reads, "There is a VIP elevator leading to the 3rd floor. The total number of zombies is 11, the number of zombies on the 3rd floor is 0. The main character decides to turn right and fights his way through the crowd of zombies, throwing one of them out the window. Finally, it detects the elevator, but it only opens with the map. Suddenly, the main character sees something breaking through the wall and a very large zombie comes out of the resulting cloud of dust. The main character looks at him in shock and horror. The blue dialogue box says, "Keys to the presidential suite on the 3rd floor. The number of zombies is 0. It can be used as a temporary shelter." The main character notices a bunch of keys with a VIP elevator card on the zombie's belt and jumps on it with an axe. It hits the zombie in the shoulder, but the axe gets stuck. The main character manages to take cover with a shield and the zombie retaliates by throwing it away from him and covering his shield with very fast and strong blows, due to which the shield is deformed and covered with dents. A large zombie knocks the shield out of the main character's hands, and at this moment another zombie pounces on him from the other side. The main character grabs the emerging zombie by the head and tells him what a freak he is. He says, "Did you really think you could just eat me up like that?" and rips off his head with his hands. He then throws this head into the mouth of a large zombie and releases the contents of the fire extinguisher in its face. Then he pulls the axe from his shoulder, grabs the key ring from his belt, and sneeringly runs off in the direction of the elevator. After reaching the elevator, the main character taps the call button, asking him aloud to arrive as soon as possible. The main characters notice that the injection has side effects. The veins in his neck have swollen and become green, and the main character himself feels noticeably worse. The zombie in a police uniform comes around the corner and the main character notices a gun in a holster on his belt. The main character decides that he needs to get this gun. But after the zombie policeman comes out, a crowd of zombies from which the main character takes cover with a shield and decides to deal with this later and goes in search of the number mentioned by the system. The elevator manages to close with the main character inside, but the zombies remain outside. The elevator arrives on the 3rd floor and the main character gets out of it experiencing noticeable pain from the side effects of the injection. The system prompt says, "There are no zombies in the presidential suite with 5 bedrooms and 2 living rooms. You can open it with a key." While the main character opens the door of the suite with a card, his green veins swell even more and he says that he is in unbearable pain. He goes inside and discovers a refrigerator full of drinking water and immediately drinks the whole bottle in one gulp. He notices that the water has relieved him of the side effect of the injection. The main character notes that there is enough water in the refrigerator for him to completely complete the transition to an abnormally strong person, and that after he is ready, the zombies will not be afraid of him. The sun is sinking below the horizon on the street. People are desperately fighting for their survival, dying and crying surrounded by zombies. At this time, the main character is sitting on a sofa with a full table and opens a can of soda. Somewhere, zombies are running up the stairs while 3 guys try their best to hold them back with improvised barricades of furniture. The main character is enjoying his soda. In a gym, the guys are defending themselves from attacking zombies, while Zhang Hao in a white shirt gives out orders to block the way. The main character is enjoying a meal. Wang Jiran victoriously stands with a sword over the 3 dead bodies and says, "I accept your ring. Thank you for your hard work, gentlemen weaklings." Wang Jiran says it's time to go to the mall and find a zombie with a gun on his belt. Zombies roam the night streets of the city. Zhang Hao is sitting in some sports equipment storage room with a bunch of other guys and looking through a blue dialogue box. He thinks they need to find a way to get as many players together as possible and form a survivor camp. He hopes that this night will be safe. A girl with black hair sits hugging her knees under the table and says, "Don't be afraid." The main character says that it's time to count the harvest and opens his inventory. Hints indicate that a clean fabric can enhance the protection of clothing and clothing can be made after receiving sewing drawings. Mutagenic fertilizers will accelerate the growth of crops and livestock, and 10 mutagenic fertilizers can be synthesized in an accelerated growth fertilizer. Energy can increase physical strength by progressing the next boost 10 out of 100. Cash can be used to buy food with a longer shelf life from the vending machine. The hero thinks that they are killing zombies. You can get energy crystal cores and process their corpses into fertilizer. He also thinks that there is not enough storage space, so you will have to get rid of unnecessary items, and you will not get much water with provisions when going out on sorties. About car keys, the hint says that this is the key to the SUV and you should go to the underground parking lot to find it. The main character decides that he will deal with this tomorrow after he gets a gun. The main character opens a general chat in which we see 4 messages. First, does anyone have water? I have run more than a kilometer and I'm about to die of thirst. Second, is there anyone near the hospital? I'm locked in an office on the 5th floor of the hospital. Can someone help me? I just killed a zombie and collected an energy crystal core. Does anyone need me? I exchange it for food or water anonymously. Fourth, I saw through the window a guy with an axe in the mall who killed more than a dozen zombies. Brother, save me. The main character reacted to the last message by saying that a dozen were not there. A message from Zhang Hao appeared in the chat. Hello everyone, my name is Zhang Hao. My 6 companions and I have set up a camp. You can privately tell me your location and we will come for you. Sharing resources. This is the only way we can defeat the zombies. The main character thought that this was a great idea, but was afraid that if he revealed his abilities to them, he would have problems, so he decided to be alone. The dialogue box says that Wang Jiran has placed 3 half-liter bottles of drinking water and 3 pieces of vacuum-wrapped ham sausages on the shelf. The dialogue boxes show 4 messages from the chat. 1. He's a real god. Ham and water, incredible. 2nd, see what he needs. Maybe you can trade it for food. The 3rd, he just went down to the supermarket. This world is so unfair. Why am I stuck in a toilet stall? 4th, Wang Jiran, great god, check direct. Direct, my sister wants sausage. Looking at this, the main character thinks that the system has a trading space to exchange resources. The dialogue box says that Wang Jiran wants to exchange half a liter of drinking water for 1 energy crystal core and vacuum-wrapped ham sausage for 1 energy crystal core. The main character reflects that this is too expensive because the cores are needed to strengthen. If he cancels all his supplies, his strength will increase to unimaginable proportions in a short period of time. But food and water are really important in the early stages of the game, because no matter how strong you are, you need to replenish your strength. The main character decides that now everyone needs a weapon and he offers to exchange his knives for food. He sold everything in less than 3 seconds as he expected, and he makes a decision to definitely continue tomorrow. Among the many exchange offers, the main character notices a map of the city and immediately offers an exchange. When he clicks the button, he sees on the screen a girl in black stockings, a short skirt with long black hair and black gloves sitting under the table. The main character tells her that he needs her maps of the city and the university campus and the bloody keys and asks her to name a price. In response, the girl tells him that she needs food and clean drinking water. She adds that just water will also do. The main character reflects that with the help of the map, he can easily determine where there are a lot of supplies and where you cannot rush. The map is very important, and because of the demand, the price may be appropriate. The main character decides to bargain and bring down the price and offers her 250 milliliters of water and canned food in exchange for her 3 items. Without much hesitation, the girl agrees, which surprises the main character. He adds his items to the trading platform and asks her to confirm the exchange. After receiving water and half-eaten canned food, the girl says thank you to him and that he is a good guy, unlike others. In response to this, the main character says that they are newbies and should help each other while thinking about whether he has done something bad. The girl starts eating and the main character says eat slowly and then she chokes. He thinks about giving her better things when they become friends. Then he suggests that she add each other as friends and asks where she found such an important thing as a map in response that the girl only had time to answer with a surprised face. And then the connection was cut off. The main character wonders why she turned off and complains about the human morals that have deteriorated in recent days and that girls need to be on their guard. He decides to go to bed early. Day comes and the city is still haunted by the dead. Zheng Hao and his group peek through the door. He commands them to stick together and tells them that the hospital is only 2 blocks away. At this time, the main character goes down on a VIP elevator to the 2nd floor, jumps out of it swinging his axe, waiting for a battle with a horde of zombies, but discovers that there is no one in the corridor. He discovers a trail of blood and wonders where it leads. He notices that if it was a zombie bite, there would be splashes everywhere, but there aren't any. He understands that someone is hunting players. The main character realizes that the gun was taken by the killer of the players and it is possible that he is still around. However, he realizes that he does not have a map of the elevator and there is no way to get to the 3rd floor. He decides to go to the parking lot and look for an SUV. As soon as the main character leaves, Wang Jiran climbs in through the window and notices that the main character is fast enough, so his physique is not bad and he probably has resources. Then he talks about how it doesn't bother him much with the gun in his hand. He talks about how he'll just wait for him to come back. The main character walks through the underground parking lot, clicks on the car unlock button on the car keys and sees the car's headlights light up in response. Because of this sound, his presence is detected by zombies roaming around the parking lot. With a sinister grin, the main character says, "Beware of me," and then he starts smashing the zombies' heads with an axe. The dialogue box says that he found 2 energy crystal cores, 6 pieces of pure cloth, and 6 pieces of mutagenic fertilizer. The main character opens the car door and discovers a shotgun with ammunition on the seat. He is happy that the system with hints is a good thing and takes the shotgun with cartridges for himself. The main character thinks that to be sure of his own safety, he should wait until the body completely absorbs the injection and then go in search of supplies. However, he then realizes that he can't go back, because even though the killer didn't see him, he may be sitting somewhere in ambush at the elevator doors. The corridor is not far from the elevator. A tin can rolls across the floor. Wang Jiran reacts to this and wonders what the sound is. On the other side of the corridor, the main character is standing in a shelter like Wang Jiran himself with a shotgun. The hint indicates that there is danger in the room opposite and you should be careful. The main character thinks that he is his target, so he follows him. Interested in the sound, Wang Jiran looks out from behind the door and sees a tin can. The main character thinks that as long as Wang Jiran doesn't move, he won't move either. However, he hears a woman scream from outside the window and is surprised that this woman is still alive. There is a cry, "Help, I'm down there." The main character jumps out and looks at the other end of the corridor, but finds no one there. He thinks that he can't miss it or he won't be able to sleep well at night. A woman with brown hair and a long dress is tied with a rope to a tree surrounded by zombies and crying loudly. She shouts, "Please let me go, they're coming." In response, from the shelter of a fat unshaven man with a cleaver in his hand next to a thin man shouts to her, "We saved you in the first place, so do as they ask." Louder, "These zombies aren't enough." His thin friend, noticeably unsure of this plan, asks the man if the two of them can handle so much. The unshaven fat man tells him that he saw the guy kill 8 grand yesterday with a fire axe without any effort, from which he deduced that the zombie's body is quite fragile. The zombies continue to approach the girl, and she screams in terror. Zombies get to the girl and begin to devour her. Blood splatters spread in all directions. Men decide that this is enough and it's time to move out. A fat unshaven man says, "Kill 20 pieces and retreat." The fat man swings the cleaver over the zombie's head and hits it on the head, but the knife gets stuck without doing much damage. In a panic, men and women run away from the crowd of zombies with all their might and call for help. The fat man decides that the only way to save himself is to sacrifice his friend, and he throws him into a crowd of zombies, shouting, "I'm sorry, brother." As the zombies come out to eat the thin man, he shouts after his friend, "Brother, I will become a zombie and come for you." The main character watches from a hiding place as a woman in a long dress is tormented by zombies and thinks that in the conditions of the end of the world, human morals have fallen and worries that that guy will also probably come out soon. He notices a fat man running towards him and thinks, "Don't you dare run in my direction, I'm hiding here." The fat man stumbles and the zombies start eating his flesh. The main character notices this and says with malice, "Serves you right." However, one of the zombies notices him and heads in his direction. The main character decides that the shots will attract even more zombies and that it will be better to use an axe. He kills zombies running at him with an axe. He looks at the fat man's corpse and sees the ring on his hand. The hint says that the ring is full and you need to throw away some of the resources to collect the materials needed for upgrading. The main character understands that to upgrade the vault, you need materials for which you need to kill someone, and this fact disgusts him. The hint says, "Take care of your head." The main character manages to dodge a sword strike in time. Wang Jiran says that he has a good reaction time. He says he just lured him out by jumping out of the window. The main character asks, "Did you know I was hiding behind a wall?" Wang Jiran replies with a sneer that he found the empty cans on the floor and it wasn't hard to guess. With a sinister look, Wang Jiran says that the main character is too young to die by his hand. Armed with a shield and an axe, the protagonist replies, "Who said I was going to die?" Wang Jiran says with a smile, "Trust me, kid." Wang Jiran lunges forward and smashes the main character's shield into fragments. With a sword in his hand, he says, "I will show you what it means to be stronger than others." The main character dodges the blow, but the blade grazes his cheek, leaving him a cut. The main character is amazed by Wang Jiran's speed. Wang Jiran tells the protagonist that he has a good reaction time. Then, with one kick, he throws the main character across the street. Wang Jiran says that nothing is more beautiful than broken ribs. The main character understands that the enemy has much more combat experience and with weapons he has more chances and he urgently needs to come up with something. Dragging his sword on the ground behind him, Wang Jiran says that the main character's game is over. As soon as Wang Jiran gets close enough, the main character jumps up, grabs him by the torso and knocks him to the ground. The main character asks him what's wrong with everyone being alive and well and why he hunts players. Wang Jiran elbows him in the back and demands to let him go. The main character mockingly tells him, "Don't you have a gun? Get it out." Wang Jiran takes out a gun from his ring and at that moment the main character bites his hand. Wang Jiran yells that he will tear him into 1,000 pieces and rip off his head. While the train bounces off the main character pulls out a shotgun and they find themselves facing each other with weapons aimed at each other. Wang Jiran says, "Brother, let's talk it over." Zheng Hao's squad armed with baseball bats notices that someone is shooting, which will attract more zombies, and says that they need to go back to the gym. The main character is sitting on the floor and trying to catch his breath next to Wang Jiran with a shot hole in his forehead. Behind him, the zombies come around the corner and approach him. The main character can't move and falls to the ground. The dialogue box reads, "Zhao Ziyu invites you to chat." The main character weakly accepts the challenge and a girl appears on the screen sitting under the table. With a worried face, she asks what is happening to him and tells him that there is a zombie behind him and he needs to get up immediately. She says she has an epinephrine shot or medication that she will send to him. The main character gets a shot of adrenaline, and they inject it into their leg, hoping that it will take effect before the zombies get to him. Orange dialogue boxes count down 3 seconds until the injection starts as the zombies get closer and closer. Grabbing the sword of the slain Wang Jiran, he deals with the zombies surrounding him. The dialogue box says that adrenaline will run for 10 minutes, and the main character thinks that in 10 minutes he will have time to get out, but notices that there are much more zombies nearby than he thought. He understands that there are too many of them. Trying to escape from the crowd of zombies, the main character is surrounded. He pulls out a revolver but finds that there are no bullets in it. He manages to dodge the zombie that jumped into him, but falls to the floor. However, he notices parking barriers nearby. Armed with a sword, he breaks through a crowd of zombies, rips the parking fence out of the asphalt with his hand, and, armed with it as a second weapon, begins to fight with a crowd of zombies surrounding him. An older man with a cigarette and a younger guy see him fighting through the window and say that 1 against 10 is too cool. Another guy sitting on the van says in the dialogue box, "Hey, look, this guy just blows up these dead people." However, he and the main character soon notice a huge bloated zombie covered in huge blisters all over its body. The dialogue box says that this road leads to the riverbank and there is a wire mesh that can detain corpses. Zheng Hao's squad watches through the dialogue boxes as the main character fights a huge fat zombie from his sports equipment warehouse and is amazed by his fighting skill. Meanwhile, the main character thinks that he can't beat them all and only the net can stop them, so he runs to it, then jumps on it and decides that now he is safe. Then he feels a sharp pain and realizes that the adrenaline rush is over and the exhausted man falls on the other side of the fence. The main character gets up. The dialogue box indicates that the upgrade will help extend the effect of injections and it has enough resources to upgrade. The main character is amazed at how many resources the guy he killed managed to accumulate. The inventory includes 105 energy cores, 109 mutagenic fertilizers, 109 canned meat, 166 purified water, 184 ham, 1 shotgun, 4 boxes of shotgun bullets, 10 storage ring fragments, a Tang-era blade blueprint, a map fusion device, 1 samurai sword, 1 revolver. The following dialogue box says, drawing blades of the Tang-era requires metal weapons 0 out of 10, core energy 0 out of 10, allows you to produce blades that don't wear out. Card merge device, scan any card with this device so that it is always at your fingertips. Coughing, the main character thought that he wouldn't have to worry about food and water in the near future. The dialogue box says, you need an energy core of 105 out of 100, do you want to start updating? The main character clicks on the yes button. The dialogue box says that the upgrade is complete and the main character feels like every cell in his body is filled with power and the side effects from the injection are gone. The dialogue box congratulates you on the upgrade and says that you need 300 energy cores to upgrade your rank to awakened. The main character decides to try out his new powers and hits the nearest stone with his fist, and from his blow it shatters into pieces. The main character notices that he even lost his abrasions and is amazed that he really did it. He suddenly felt like crying. The dialogue box indicates that there are enough resources to update the ring, and the update is running. The following dialogue box states that the storage ring has been successfully upgraded to the 2nd level and 24 storage cells are available. For the next improvement, you need 100 ring fragments, 50 nuclear power. On the 3rd level, a virtual car will open. While the main character is thinking that he should thank the person who helped him get out of the ambush, he sees a dialogue box that says that there are 10 days left before the start of the 2nd phase of the game and the weakening of zombies and other mutated creatures will be removed. The same dialogue box sees Zheng Hao's squad, to which they say that they don't even have normal weapons and that they are all finished. Zheng Hao tells them not to lose heart, because there are more of them and thanks to working together, they will definitely make it. A beefy man in a black t-shirt Kai Hongda and a woman in a short top and combat pants with a bokai and Zhen Yu say that they are going to take their group to the supermarket tomorrow. Others shout that this is the right idea because there are a lot of resources and they are all determined to fight. Zhao Ziyu eats and drinks water under the table while communicating with the main character via video link and the main character says I'm not in a hurry because no one will take the food from her. She tells him that she did not think that he would survive and is glad that she spent the injection for a reason, to which the main character thanks her. Because if it were not for her, he would already be dead. Zhao Ziyu says that any normal person would have done the same. The main character says that there are hardly any normal people left in this world. Zhao Ziyu agrees. He asks her why she is hiding under the table and if she is trapped, and asks her to tell him where she is so that he can save her. Zhao Ziyu is about to disconnect from the call, and the main character asks her not to disconnect and says that he does not mean anything bad because it is safe and you can even take a hot bath, she can live here. Zhao Ziyu ignores his words, thanking him for his kindness and supplies and saying goodbye. The main character manages to ask her to tell him if something happens and says that he will definitely help. The main character wonders why she doesn't believe him, because he speaks from the bottom of his heart. Zhao Ziyu thinks that it would be nice to get out of here, but people don't even know the real danger. Then she notices something and looks back in fear at the window, where a huge paw suddenly appears. The main character runs along a wooden path and notices glowing blue plants. Seeds. What is it? He asks himself. The hint reads, meat potatoes are a unique crop whose stems taste like meat. It is rich in protein and trace elements. Adapts well. The maturity cycle is 4 months. The main character enters his suite and discovers a broken window and open empty refrigerators with empty water bottles. He knows that someone is here. A red monster with a spiked tail, huge claws on its paws, huge teeth and a long tongue with eyes crawls along the wall of the building. The main character in C is staring intently out the window with a shotgun at the ready. Then he lowers the shotgun and thinks that he's getting a little nervous because it takes a lot of force to break the tempered glass, and if he's still here, the system will warn him. Then he hears a knock on the door, whirls around with a shotgun at the ready, and shouts, "Get out." The door opens and he sees a small girl in a yellow jacket with 2 pink ponytails and a hammer in her hands. She's shaking. He was surprised that he saw the girl and asks, and then emptied his refrigerator, to which she replies with a negative. She says she didn't do it, didn't break the window, and didn't steal anything. The main character asks her to first lower the weapon and asks where all the food went. Embarrassed, she asks him to give her a bottle of water. In response, the main character tells her that there was a lot of water in the refrigerator. The girl has run out of patience and curses. She hits him on the foot with a hammer and then with a fist in the face. While the main character was cursing, she ran away thanking him for the ring of space. The main character wonders why the system's hints don't work and threatens to tear off her head if she gets caught. Suddenly, the girl comes back and asks if he has a gun. Perplexed, the protagonist replies, "What? You took the food, and now you're rolling your lip on a gun." The girl abruptly closed the door and said with a serious face to turn off the light and that the zombies were close. The main character replied that if she didn't return the ring to him, he would throw it to the zombies. The red dialogue box tells you to be careful with windows. A red monster with a 4-mouthed mouth, a red body with claws and glowing red eyes flies into the room through the window. The dialogue box says that this is a mutant zombie of the second type, fast, jumps well, sees poorly. The main character wonders what it is. The girl hits the monster with a hammer on the back of the head from behind. The main character is amazed at how strong this monster is and understands that he can eat it without any problems. At this point, the main character pulls out a gun and shoots the monster in the head, from which he falls to the floor without moving. Deciding that the monster is dead and the mutants are not so difficult to deal with, he begins to demand that the girl return his ring to him, but the monster gets up again. The girl and the main character are both shocked by this. The main character begins to demand from the girl that she return his ring because he ran out of ammo, and they are in the ring. In response, she asks him to throw her his gun. The main character at the last moment manages to dodge the monster's attack and demands that the girl quickly return his ring to him, and she throws it to him. With quick movements, the main character takes out ammunition for the pistol from the ring, loads it and shoots the monster again. However, the monster dodged the bullets and jumped on the ceiling and hung onto it to the surprise of the main character. He comes to the conclusion that the mutant is intelligent. The mutant rushes at the girl, who covers herself with her hands, but at the last moment the main character pulls out a sword and cuts off his head. The dialogue box says, "You have found the corpse of a mutant, receive the energy of crystal cores 15. The main character tells the girl to leave. He lets her go in gratitude for her help. The girl replies that she will not leave, because he has a lot of resources and is strong. She suggests that he cover for her. The main character swings his sword and the girl notices that the monster scratched him. She taunts him and says that in 2 hours he will turn into a zombie. She offers him to give her all of his resources in exchange for her putting him out of his misery. The main character wonders why he was unlucky if the monster obviously came because of her. Pulling up his sleeves, he begins to approach the girl with a serious face and begins to say that he wants to do something with her before he dies. Horrified, she asks him what he's up to. The main character, without changing his face, answers, "What do you think I want to do right now? I'll take you with me." The girl does not support this idea. She says she'll come back here and blow his zombie head off when she gets back. She angrily leaves the room, and the main character is glad that she left. He says that lately he has met a lot of bad people, but such pure evil as he has not met for a long time. The main character once again examined the wound that the mutant left him. The next day, the girl cries in the main character's room, which is now empty, about where he managed to put all the supplies in this short time. The main character stands on a bridge over a river in some plain surrounded by mountains and says that he was able to find this place thanks to the map that Zhao Ziyu gave him. The dialogue box says that there are no zombies here, and this is a great location for a settlement. The main character goes through a large wooden door and finds himself in a room with a sofa and a table. He hears a growl behind him and looks around, then looks under the table and discovers the animal. The animal barked. The dialogue box reads, alienated epic beast, wolf king cub, S-rank combat talent. Can be tamed by feeding meat. The main character reacted with joyful emotion to his discovery. The animal barked angrily in response. The main character threw him a piece of meat. The animal sniffed and viciously ate the meat. The dialogue box reads, favor of an epic beast, 1. When the favor ability reaches 100, the beast will be permanently attached to its master. Currently, his combat effectiveness is equivalent to an unusually strong man with a weapon in his hands. The main character is impressed by the fact that such a small animal is not inferior to him in strength and decides that this is a real treasure. Zhang Hao's squad stands in front of two people who are bowed down in front of them and shaking with tears. One of them has recently had his arm cut off and they are asking for some food. Kai and Zhenyu says that they will turn in 2 hours, so there is no point in giving them food. To which Zhang Hao retorts that they were protecting them, so it's their duty to feed them before they die. The squad listens to his decision. Other than Kai Hongda, he thinks his decision is stupid. The main character holds the last piece of meat in his hands, while the fat man, his dog, looks at him expectantly. The dialogue box says favorability is 99. The fat man eats the meat, and the dialogue box congratulates him on successfully taming his battle pet, the warring moon wolf king. The following dialogue box says, name, fat man. Species, aloof beast king of howling wolves. Growth, as the growth stage increases, the combat effectiveness will increase significantly, and in parallel, the beast will learn new skills. Favorite food, meat, zombies, mutant animals, mutant insects. Skill, true combat. After joining the battle, size, strength, and speed are doubled. The main character notes that it will not be difficult to feed the pet because it eats zombies. He decides to pour water from the tap, turns on the water, and notices that as the second stage approaches, the water gets dirtier. On the night beach, the main character and the fat man are digging in the sand. The main character thinks that if there is no rain, watering the plants will not work. You need to find cleaning equipment while he pours water from a bottle on the ground. The main character argues that in the second phase there will not be enough water and he needs to find a good source. He tells the fat man not to let anyone near their house, to which he barks in the affirmative. The dialogue box shows the game's public chat. It discusses how the water is getting dirtier and the zombies are getting stronger, how someone saw a bus-sized zombie yesterday, how it's best not to turn on the lights at night because the monsters it attracts have appeared, and questions about where Wang Jiren has gone. Also, Zhang Hao continues to recruit people to his squad and says that there are 15 survivors in his camp and 3 exceptionally strong people including himself, but in response they refuse, because they will have to share resources. A girl in a white sweatshirt with blonde hair tied up in a bun and armed with a machete, and a guy in a t-shirt and shorts with brown hair with an axe are fighting zombies in the city. The girl says that they did a good job killing 12 zombies, but an arrow suddenly pierces her neck. Her partner screams her name in horror, and an arrow pierces his neck as well. They drop dead. An older man with a scar and beard tells a woman with short red hair that he told her not to kill the girl, to which she indifferently replies, I killed and killed, you don't have enough of me. And I urged him to gather resources from them as soon as possible. The man stops her because he sees someone coming. The main character goes with a sword on the edge of the street. A red dialogue box warns of 2 robbers with bows in a window on the 3rd floor of a nearby building. The main character notes that ambushes with long-range weapons are not uncommon now. The red-haired woman stands with her bowstring taut, but the scarred man tells her not to move so as not to betray her position. He notes that the guy came from the riverbank and he must have something to profit from. The main character thinks that he needs to go up to the 3rd floor in 20 seconds so that they do not have time to react, but his path is blocked by 3 negatively minded armed men. Ho-ho, they split up into several groups, the main character notes. One of the robbers, who does not wear anything above the waist, demanded that the main character give all his resources, and then they will not touch him. The main character refuses, and a robber with a shaved head jumps out from behind him, brandishing a weapon. At this moment, a red-haired woman outside the window shoots the main character in the heart, but he manages to catch the arrow with his hand before it reaches his body. But at this moment, the robber from behind manages to hit him on the back, from which he falls to the ground. A half-naked robber taunts the main character while another robber signals through the window for them to come down. The red-haired woman jumps out of the window, ignoring the scarred man's warning, and they both descend to the ground. The red-haired woman says that their boss is too timid and now she will be in charge. The scarred man shouts, "Watch out." However, no one has time to react in time, and the main character strikes the shaven robber on the back with a sword. The main character is happy that they are all gathered in one place. A robber without a top pounces on the main character, shouting, "You will pay for my brother." In response, the main character cuts the robber in half along the body. The red dialogue box warns, "Watch out, grenade." An explosion occurs next to the main character, and the scarred man grabs the red-haired archer by the arm and shouts that they need to get out of here. The main character manages to avoid the explosion, but the rest of the robbers are killed in it. While they are running away, the red-haired woman asks the boss about why they are running away if he has grenades, to which the boss replies that the main character is too strong for them to handle. The robber's boss notices that the main character is chasing them across the roof, and they notice that their escape route has been cut off by a mob of zombies with a huge fat zombie in the lead. The main character descends to the ground behind them, and the robbers are surrounded. The boss tells the protagonist that they attacked him out of stupidity and asks them to let them go in exchange for half of their resources. The main character objects that this is too small and requires 80%. The boss is not happy with his offer and says that it is too much, but the red-haired woman tells him to stop resisting because at this rate they will have no chance to escape. The main character replies, "Okay, let's wait together," while the red dialogue box warns that giant zombies can instantly kill. The giant zombie makes a nightmarish sound, to which the robbers react in horror and agree to 80%, but on the condition that the main character first throws his sword and then he gives him his ring for storage. The main character throws the sword to the ground and the boss quietly cheers, planning to wait until the zombie gets closer to throw the grenade, and the robber with red hair grabs the sword. The red-haired woman agrees, believing that without the sword, the main character will not be able to resist them. The main character grins ominously. The giant zombie has come noticeably closer and the boss can't find his grenades. A woman's hand rips off his storage ring, and while the boss is puzzled about what is happening, Xiao Hui, a red-haired robber, pushes him into a crowd of zombies. A giant zombie throws the boss into the air, and he asks why she did it. Xiao Hui replies that since he said he loved her, he should detain them for her sake. Xiao Hui throws a grenade into a crowd of zombies, and the protagonist is impressed by its bursting power, which tore the zombies to pieces. As the dust from the explosion clears, the protagonist sees a giant zombie bite off the head of the robber's boss. He sees the storage ring next to his sword, but doesn't have time to pick it up because of the giant zombie rushing in his direction, and decides to return for the sword later. The blue dialogue box calls you to immediately move away from the giant zombie and kill the female bandit. Zheng Hao's squad finds the bodies of the survivors killed in the night, and they decide that it is the work of bandits, but they do not understand why they took the resources. Then they discover the body of one of the robbers and realize that it is an ambush because the corpses are bait for zombies. Zheng Hao's squad gathers in a semicircle in a defensive position. Soon, they see Xiao Hui running away, shouting, "Why are you chasing me instead of the ring?" Then a bullet goes through her head and they see the main character with a shotgun. Zheng Hao gives the command not to move. The blue dialogue box reads, "Primary water purifier requires purifier 1 crystal energy core 5. Primary water purifier can purify slightly polluted water that is not suitable for drinking." Zheng Hao told Zhen Yu to remove all the rings from the corpses and give them to the chief, the hero, and prepare to lead people away if he decides to attack them. Then he asks him not to kill them. While Zhen Yu picks up the rings from the ground, the protagonist makes a sudden movement that scares everyone present. He says he doesn't kill them, and the rings belong to Zheng Hao's squad because they found them first, and throws the rings to Zhen Yu. Zheng Hao thanks the main character and asks what his name is. The main character replies, "Call me Lei Feng." Lei Feng stands on the roof of a building as the sun sets over the city. Down the street is an army of zombies with one giant one. Lei Feng thinks that he couldn't find the ring or sword anywhere, and it's possible that someone picked them up, but he can't get in because of the zombies. Somewhere in an alley, a girl with 2 ponytails and a yellow jacket is appraising the Lei Feng sword she found. Lei Feng is in his base near the river. The blue dialogue box indicates that it takes 120 days for potatoes to ripen, and growth can be accelerated by using fast growth fertilizers that need to be applied every 3 days. The following dialogue box indicates that 200 mutagenic fertilizers have been synthesized into 20 rapid growth fertilizers. 7 fast-growing fertilizers have been successfully used, with 60 days left to fully mature. Where there was a bare mound of earth, now a young sprout with 2 leaves flaunts. Lei Feng thinks that in 3 days, he will fertilize the plants again, and it will be possible to harvest the crops. He decides to collect seeds and plant the entire space. The fat man brought a bucket of clean water, and Lei Feng noted that the purifier was doing a good job, and if he could find a better plan for the purifier, then drinking water wouldn't be a problem anymore. Lei Feng patted the fat man and called him to hunt zombies after watering, to which the fat man barked in approval. It's night in the city. The blue arrow punches a large hole in the zombie's head. Lei Feng covers the night streets with arrows from his newfound bow. The fat man has changed his shape into a giant beast and is smashing down a crowd of dead people. Lang Fei mentally approves of his pet's new form and notes that he needs to level up as soon as possible. The blue dialogue box reports finding 5 mutagenic fertilizers and 19 crystal energy cores from 13 zombie corpses. For the next upgrade, 103 of the 300 crystal energy cores are collected. The fat man spots something at a bend in the street and gives chase. Lei Feng shouts at him not to run too far, because it's dangerous. A fat man chases a small mutant down the street, but two others attack him from above. He catches one of them with his huge mouth with big sharp teeth, but the other one clings to his back with its squid-like mouth, releasing ink. The mutants continue to attack the fat man, but Lang Fei manages to come to the rescue and starts shooting them with a bow. He thinks that he should never miss. He lands an arrow at the mutant on the fat man's back, but it breaks on his body. Noticing this, the mutant runs along the walls towards Lei Feng. The mutant soars into the air, and at that moment Lei Feng cuts it apart with a knife. The blue dialogue box indicates that the crawling larva has been successfully killed and 15 crystal energy cores have been collected. Lei Feng shouts at the fat man to turn his back on him, because another mutant is already sitting on his back. The fat man turns his back, and Lei Feng punches the mutant's head. Lei Feng jumps up to the fat man, who rips the mutant with his mouth and tells him to stop because something is wrong here and they need to leave. As they leave, more mutants appear. Shocked by their numbers, they try to escape, but they are surrounded. Lei Feng thinks that there are too many of them, and it's not normal. It assumes that something is about to happen. He tells the fat man to split up and run. Two guys with a bat and crowbar stand guard at the entrance to the supermarket. Zhang Hao's party gathers supplies, and Zhang Hao tells them to hurry before the zombies come. The guys at the entrance see the mutants crawling out one by one, run inside and in horror close the door behind them, saying that there are 4 of them. People wonder why there are so many of them and start to panic. One of the mutants digs its mouth into the glass, and Zhang Hao gives the command to block the door. They clutter the entrance with improvised furniture. Outside, they see Lei Feng fighting the mutants with his knife. The dialogue box reports they received 10 crystal energy nuclei. While a girl in a sweater with dark brown hair says that he can't handle it, Kai Zhenyu recognizes Lei Feng. 2 large mutants jump on Lei Feng from behind. Kai Zhenyu commands everyone to be alert. Lei Feng cuts open one mutant with a knife, then pulls out a shotgun and shoots off the head of another mutant with it. A girl with ponytails wakes up in bed and complains about how hot she is. She wonders why her face is burning. The blue dialogue box says, "Congratulations, your level has been successfully upgraded to Awakened. The system activates your talents." The girl reacts perplexedly and thinks that she has been sleeping too long. Zhang Hao says that seeing so many zombies is too strange and gives the command to wind down the operation and return to the gym. Lei Feng runs away from the mutants and shouts that they have been running after him for 6 streets and are not tired. Mutants start to glow blue and stop. A huge red dialogue box says that there are players in the game world who have been illegally upgraded, so the second stage will start earlier and there are 59 seconds left before the update. Lei Feng thinks about who could have done this. The red dialogue box indicates that in the second phase, the sliders evolve and will pose a greater danger and they need to be killed now. Lei Feng was thinking about taking this chance. The red dialogue box indicates that there are 39 seconds left before the update. Zhang Hao's squad is running with all their might. Zhang Hao shouts about finding shelter as soon as possible. A red dialogue box indicates that there are 25 seconds left before the update, that the game is getting ready to update, and that the zombies of the second stage are getting ready to update. The following red dialogue box indicates that the zombies are now just regular phantoms, including a giant zombie and a crowd of standard and crawling ones. Lei Feng says that there are too many zombies and he won't be able to pass there, and asks this system if there is another way. The blue dialogue box tells him to go through the alley. After 300 meters turn left, there will be a heavy truck full of fuel with which he can escape. To which Lei Feng retorts that he can't drive. Lei Feng comes to the conclusion that it doesn't matter and says to give it 100%. He runs past a crowd of zombies while the red dialogue boxes continue to count down to refresh. Lei Feng shouts about why the zombies still haven't stopped and how ruthless they will be in the second stage. As he runs past the crowd of zombies, he thinks that it's over and it's too late. He finds more cargo, but discovers a mutant on it and complains that he will not be able to get into the cabin. He decides to hide under the cab. The red dialogue box indicates that there are 3 seconds left before the update. While Lei Feng was trying to get under the heavy truck, he hit his foot on a rock, which caused him to roll on the spot, indignant about where he came from. The red dialogue box indicates that the update for the second stage has been completed and encourages you to enjoy the game. The mutant leaps at Lei Feng. He manages to dodge and notices that he has increased in size, but has not become slower. Only after landing and leaving a dent in the asphalt did the mutant immediately jump into Lei Feng. He managed to dodge, but noticed that it was very close and that he would definitely die in a fight with it, and also that he could fight without his sword. He decides to find a place to hide. Lei Feng jumps into a heavy truck and discovers a bazooka on the seat, which surprises him greatly. He picks up a bazooka and shoots it at the mutant flying at him. The explosion tears the mutant to pieces. Zhang Hao's squad is standing on a street surrounded by a huge army of zombies. Zhang Hao fights the zombies and shouts to the others that as long as they are united, they will win. Zhao Ziyu kills zombies with a bow. Someone screams that they don't want to die while the zombie tears them to pieces. There is a loud clatter, and a huge zombie the size of a multi-story building appears in front of them. They look at him in horror, and a girl with pink hair says that it's over and they're all going to die. Zhao Ziyu tells them not to panic and group up, protect each other. Kai Hongda doesn't agree with him and says that this zombie is definitely attracted to something. He says that he has a way for most people to get out of the environment, and for this you will have to sacrifice some of them. Zheng Hao doesn't like his idea and shouts at him to shut up. Kai Hongda cuts him off and shouts at him that in this world, the strong devour the weak, and if they don't make these sacrifices, everyone will die. He tells him that he is completely unsuited to the role of a leader. Kai and Zhen Yu interrupts them in an argument and tells them that giant zombies are coming. Zheng Hao's squad fights their way across the street, and Zheng Hao tells them to run down the manhole. However, suddenly the hatch cover takes off and a huge mutant gets out. They shout that this is an adult crawler and it's over. Kai Hongda tells him with a grim smile that he didn't listen to him and now they can't escape even by using bait. Suddenly, they see a car that Lei Feng is driving, knocking down oncoming zombies along the way. The blue dialog box indicates that 588 out of 300 crystal energy cores are needed to upgrade the awakened one. Since the conditions are met, it offers to update. Lei Feng confirms and the cabin fills with blue light. The blue dialog box says, "Congratulations, you have been promoted to the first stage of the early stage upon awakening. The talent system has been successfully activated. To upgrade to the second stage, you need 288 out of 1.200 crystal energy cores." Kai and Zhen Yu gleefully says it's him. Lei Feng grabs a bazooka and fires a rocket directly from the cockpit into the crowd of zombies. Zheng Hao gives the command to quickly get on the heavy truck. A girl with ponytails and a yellow jacket is standing in a crowd of zombies. She has big red spots under her eyes with red smudges. She thinks that her unlucky talent not only helped her avoid disaster, but also helped her blend in with the zombies, so you don't have to worry about collecting supplies anymore. She sees the fat man and says, "What a cute little dog." Kai Hongda sullenly asks Zheng Hao if he would like to send someone to pick up Lei Feng to find out where he lives. Zheng Hao replies that it's a stupid idea, and they invited him to join, and he rejected the offer, but he saved them anyway, so they shouldn't fight with him. Kai and Zhen Yu notices in his mind that he has become stronger since they haven't seen each other. While Lei Feng is driving his heavy truck, he notices a fat man behind the fence. He stops and walks up to him, tells him that he scared him and asks how his wounds are, patting him on the head. The fat man barks back happily and wags his tail. A girl with ponytails comes out on the porch and asks, "Do we have guests?" She notices Lei Feng while he is talking to the fat man. "You say she saved you and helped you heal your wounds." The red dialogue box says, "Take care of your head." The freak sees a girl in a yellow jacket and ponytails jumping at him with a sword and telling him that this time she will not miss her chance. He recognizes her without much strength and dodges her attack. He pushes her away unceremoniously, takes the sword, and says, "Isn't that my sword?" She asks him why he didn't wait for her if he didn't turn into a zombie and says that she was looking for him for a long time. Lei Feng asks her what's wrong with her face and says that she looks like a dead man. With a smug smile, she says that this is her special ability. He immediately swings his sword at her, but she dodges him and asks what he's doing. He swings again, and she dodges again. Then she uses the dream skill, and Lei Feng is surrounded by a green mist. The blue dialogue box says it's a cadaverous mist of green color and a skill system that puts a person to sleep for 30 seconds. He tells her to stop and that he was just checking on her and she shouldn't be so serious. He adds that this skill is very cool, coughing. Lei Feng thinks that besides him and the cheater, she is the third awakened one. He notes that she doesn't have any special skills, but she has become more noticeable and it's better to stay away from her. He thanks her for saving his battle pet, but since she took his food, he assumes they're even. She retorts that he is the owner of the house and asks why he drives away the needy. He shouts at her what other people are in need, and it drives her away because she ate all the food. When she asks him not to be so heartless, she offers him a lot of skill books and blueprints and 30 more ring fragments, hoping that this will cover the cost of food. Lei Feng refuses to negotiate with her and tells her that he is not going to sleep with his eyes open and grabs her by the ponytail. She says she knows where the armory is. She says that sooner or later his supplies will run out and it will become more dangerous on the street. Lei Feng asks the ponytail girl in a demanding tone where the ammunition depot is located. She says she'll tell him if he doesn't kick her out in a week, or she'll tell him now and he'll throw her out. Lei Feng orders the fat man to keep a close eye on her, especially at night, and if anything happens, immediately tell him, to which the fat man barked in the affirmative. The girl with the ponytail said, "Then I'll go," and turned around. "Wait, didn't you mention skill books?" Lei Feng retorted. In response, she made a silly face and pretended not to understand what he was talking about. In response, an angry Lei Feng said that the ammunition he had was enough for him, and told her to get out. The girl with the ponytail said with a pleading gesture that she was joking, and she had both books and drawings, along with praising his memory, and said that she would share everything. Lei Feng said not to joke around with him like that. 5 blue dialogue boxes appeared in front of the girl with ponytails. The first one says, "Rock climbing will make you a master climber able to climb most buildings and rocks." On the second level, sewing skill allows you to use fabric to make clothes, shoes, and protective equipment. As you level up, there is a chance to craft rare items with special characteristics. On the third, collecting wood allows you to collect wood and process it. On the fourth, drawing a bow allows you to master the method of making a bow. Fifth, Eye of Insight allows you to see the enemy's power level as well as through objects. Efficiency increases as the level increases. 3 dialogue boxes appeared in front of Lei Feng. The first reads, "You have learned how to collect wood and have successfully mastered rock climbing and sewing skills." Second, "You have mastered the method of making a high-precision bow." Third, the Eye of Insight is available. Lei Feng was amazed that even the most mischievous child could be taught manners. The blue dialogue box says, "Ring Fragment 30. Why did he tell her that he would pass the fertilizer to her later and he and Fatty would be responsible for the vegetable garden? Because there would be very little food in the second stage. The girl obediently accepted the instruction. 7 pieces of potato glow blue and fly over the ground. Lei Feng went to rest and left her to familiarize herself with everything and find something to do. The girl said not to worry and that she would take on all the responsibilities on the island, thinking that it was much easier than looking for food on her own. Lei Feng is sitting on the sofa in the room, looking at the blue dialogue box that says that using 120 pieces of clean cloth, you can create a first-level protective clothing according to your physique. The following dialogue boxes read, "Gene enhancement. Thanks to constantly changing genetic characteristics, you can get fitter, faster speed, strength, and impact resistance. Energy upgrade. By increasing the usage rate of crystal energy cores, players can gain an energy force field pack. You are discovered to be the first legally awakened player in this world, so you will be rewarded with a talent system. You can enable both improvements simultaneously." Lei Feng clicks on the dialogue box. System prompt, "You have obtained the genetic evolution talent body strengthening. The regeneration effect is increased by 10 times, and strength, speed, and reaction time are increased by 50%. System prompt, "You have obtained the talent of energy evolution. Enlightenment, you are surrounded by pure energy, damage increased by 10%, damage exposure reduced by 10%, and the speed of collecting crystal energy cores increased by 20% after receiving the new abilities." Lei Feng thought that there should be no more problems with this field and his sword in close combat with giant zombies. A crowd of zombies is trying to get into a building with boarded-up wooden windows. Zheng Hao boards up the windows with wooden boards from the inside and tells the others to remember to look around for zombies inside. The guy in the green shirt says that if they board up the windows, even if the zombies can't get in, they won't be able to get out on their own and will die here. Kai and Zhen Yu asks him to calm down and reminds him of how much trouble they went through together. The guy gives a sinister grin in response, his eyes start to burn red, and he turns into a zombie and rushes at Kai and Zhen Yu, saying that they were only able to get through these difficulties because others had suffered for them before. Zheng Hao yells at her to be careful, because the guy she's talking to has been bitten. A guy in a green shirt attacks Zhen Yu with the words, "Try it and you'll taste the virus." But Kai Hongda manages to cut it in half. Zhen Yu looks in horror at the falling lifeless body of his former comrade. Kai Hongda knocks on the wall with his hand holding the bloody blade and calls for all the wounded to respond, so that he will send them to a place where they will rest in peace. "If you don't, then don't say I turned my back on you all," he adds. The crowd starts looking at each other in horror. The small guy swallowed, shivered, and looked at Kai Hongda with reddened eyes. Kai Hongda smiled sinisterly and swung his blade. Zheng Hao shouted for him to stop and swung his sword. At the same time, Zhen Yu rushed towards Kai Hongda from behind to stop him. Kai Hongda blocked Zheng Hao's attack with a quick movement of his blade and cut down the infected comrade with an equally quick movement. Kai Hongda told Zheng Hao not to be so soft. His eyes were red and his veins bulged with anger. He asked Zheng Hao if he was the one who swore that he would let the comrade who had just died live to the end. Looking at the severed body with tears in her eyes, Zhen Yu said that he was someone who worked hard and that he was always a good boy. Enraged, she took out her bow and pointed it at Kai Hongda. No less loudly and fiercely, Kai Hongda reminded Zhen Yu of who had saved her and asked if she really wanted to. Zheng Hao stopped her with his hand, told her to put away the bow, and that they shouldn't have internal conflicts when there were walking corpses everywhere. Zhen Yu cursed and put away her bow. Kai Hongda smirked smugly and charged at Zhen Yu, saying that anyone who wanted to kill him had to die. Zheng Hao stretches out his hand. 2 small explosions appeared in front of Kai Hongda and knocked him back. Clutching his bloody stomach, he told Zheng Hao that he was using dirty tricks, that he would be dealt with. But he was still weak because he couldn't get rid of the trash that was slowing them down, couldn't kill the infected, and couldn't even kill him, so he was too soft. Remember, you'll ruin us all, he told him. Then he coughed up blood and fell to one knee. Kai Hongda confessed that all this time, he was more afraid of dying than any of them. He told Zhang Hao that he had found him out, and today he would give Zhang Hao his life. Do it. Kill me, he shouted at Zhang Hao. Zhang Hao looked at him and told the guys to treat him immediately. The boys began to help Kai Hongda to his feet. With a stern, threatening face, Zhang Hao ordered the others not to talk about what had happened today in the future and forget about what had happened. The boys accepted the order. Zhang Hao asked Zhen Yu how many days their supplies would last, to which she replied that it would last for a couple of days. Pondering, Zhang Hao said that tomorrow morning, when the zombies dispersed, he would go to gather supplies, and if he didn't return, Zhen Yu would be in charge. In response, Zhen Yu began to cry. 4 days later, the island where Lei Feng lives. A lot of potatoes grew in the ground. A girl with ponytails paired with a fat man dig potatoes and admire how much it is. Lei Feng reminds her not only to think about food, but also to collect seeds and plant them on time. The girl suggested to dry potatoes for storage with the help of fog. Shocked by this suggestion, Lei Feng exclaimed, "Are you purposely pissing me off? Do you want us to turn into zombies too?" Disappointed, she replied that there was nothing to be so angry about, and she just wanted to try it, see if it worked out. The blue dialog box states that fruits and vegetables that have come into contact with the corpse mist are not filled with corpse poison, preserving their appearance and taste. After learning about this, Lei Feng stops the girl and suggests that she try it out. She agrees and lets the green corpse mist fall on the plants. Nothing seems to have changed, Lei Feng says, thinking that the next time she meets an enemy, her skill should be tested. Lei Feng pointed his hand at the potato plants that were glowing green. The blue dialog box read, Potato Harvest 31. Surprised that everything remained the same even in the prompt, Lei Feng decided that they still needed to be more careful. The blue dialog box reads, Wood 165. On the next window is written, Absorbed, Wood 100, Crystal Energy Cores 10. You can create 10 high-precision bows. Absorbed wood 10, crystal energy cores 3, received, arrows 30. Carelessly threw a pile of bows and arrows on the ground. Lei Feng told the girl to try to exchange them, preferring gasoline, then food, water and cores. In response, she asked if 3 arrows were not enough for a bow. Lei Feng ominously replied that if they sold the bow, they would constantly come back for arrows, and they would charge any price. The girl said approvingly that she would sell everything. The blue dialog box says, Zhao Ziyu has submitted a transaction request. Lei Feng noticed that they haven't spoken for a long time. The dialog box says, Mutagenic Fertilizer 30, Crystal Energy Core 5, Clean Cloth 10, Flashlight 2, Batteries 3. Just wants to trade. Lei Feng was surprised and pressed the call button. The screen showed Zhao Ziyu crying, still under the table. She asked him why he'd called her and said she'd wanted to press cancel. Lei Feng asked what was going on with her. Something tore down the wall of the room where Zhao Ziyu was hiding. She said that it had come in and that she was glad to meet them, thanked him for helping her stay out longer, and added that she hoped he could manage. Lei Feng shouted her name into the screen and asked her to tell him where she was, saying that he could help her. The ponytail girl said in amazement that this monster is huge, and that this place is similar to the warehouse she was in last time. Lei Feng grabbed her by the collar and demanded to know where it was immediately. She protested that he would strangle her, and said that she would tell him everything. She pointed to a spot on the map and said that last time she had only wandered around the perimeter, not venturing inside. Lei Feng urged them to move out as soon as possible.